Hi and good evening. Thank you for watching. I'm Shakil 5858. I am Buddham. Now the latest headlines from world channels and news agencies.
Purported leak.
Tonight, the major accidents, multiple crashes on highways and interstates here in the Northeast. The images coming in now. Also breaking tonight, what's now being reported about that Black Hawk helicopter over the Potomac. We had not heard this. Tonight, President Trump's buyout offer for millions of federal workers. Take the buyout or risk being fired. Now put on hold by a judge amid questions if it's legal. First tonight, the ice and snow, multiple accidents across the Northeast, Pennsylvania, up through New York and Massachusetts. A police officer jumping out of the way, heavy ice taking down trees. Hundreds of flights canceled, and tonight a new storm right behind it, set to hit all over again. Lee Goldberg has the forecast. New reporting tonight on the plane crash, the collision over the Potomac, as the Black Hawk is now pulled from the water. What they're now reporting tonight about a warning system on the Black Hawk. Was it turned off? Martha Raddatz and what she's learned. Tonight, just hours before that midnight deadline for millions of federal workers who were sent an email titled "Fork in the Road, Take a Buyout or Risk Being Fired." Tonight, a federal judge putting President Trump's buyout offer on hold amid questions about whether it's lawful. Tonight, President Trump defending his proposal after declaring the U.S. would own Gaza, saying the Palestinians would leave, suggesting Egypt and Jordan would take them. Well, tonight, what Egypt is now saying about this, the White House now saying this would be temporary. And ABC News learning some of the president's top advisors were caught off guard by all of this. Tonight, the plane crash killing a U.S. Marine and 3 contractors. Military officials say they were on an intelligence flight. Just in tonight, a harrowing view now of those deadly fires in California. You'll see the first responders rescuing seniors in the middle of the emergency. What they did with the flames closing in. The disturbing scene in church, a priest attacked during a prayer service, the accused attacker charging the altar, attacking the priest. In New York City tonight, the gruesome discovery, what was found in a suitcase in the East River. Tonight here, we remember the 102-year-old owner of one of the most famous football teams in America. And America Strong tonight, the gift for a mother who leaves for work before the sun comes up. What they did, the messages from her toddler. And you'll see it right here. From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Tonight, a federal judge blocking that midnight deadline for millions of federal workers under pressure to take buyouts. The growing nationwide protest says the Trump administration races to shrink the federal workforce, now saying 60,000 government employees have taken the offer to leave. All of it as serious questions emerge about Elon Musk and his Doge allies' efforts to access sensitive data. The winter storm wreaking havoc, whiteout conditions in the Midwest, a tornado touchdown in Kentucky as West Virginia's capital floods. Thousands of flights delayed, plus the coming storms ahead. Al Roker tracks it all for us. Also tonight, Washington Reagan Airport scaling back flights after that deadly mid-air collision. That Black Hawk involved hoisted today from the icy Potomac. The flu explosion, one of the worst seasons in years, leaving classes empty and schools closed. The warning about addiction to nitrous oxide, known as whippets, the popular flavored gas that's easily available. One woman's stark warning after she had to relearn how to walk. Our bird's eye view above Bourbon Street, the epic effort to secure the Super Bowl after the deadly New Year's terror attack in New Orleans. And the right stuff, how thousands of people like you are joining the race to preserve handwritten notes dating back to the Revolutionary War.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News.
Uncle Sam does not want you. Not anymore. Good evening. I'm Maurice Dubois.
I'm John Dickerson. That is the message President Trump is sending millions of federal workers. Mr. Trump, who spent years firing people on a TV show, is now doing it for real.
He is firing federal government employees or offering buyouts. The White House says tens of thousands have accepted, but labor unions are suing to stop the buyout. And today, a judge paused it temporarily.
The president is also targeting thousands of FBI agents and other Bureau employees for possible firing. Those who were involved in the investigation of the January 6th riot at the Capitol. Today, another judge blocked the Justice Department from releasing a list of their names.
Scott McFarland spoke with an agent on that list who says the Bureau is in turmoil. We are protecting the agent's identity here tonight. Scott?
Yeah, Maurice, this fear of firings is spreading inside the FBI among agents who try to track down terrorists, child predators, and violent gangs, but who also were part of the investigation into January 6th. The largest criminal investigation in FBI history has given way to potentially its largest crisis. Do you think this is a distraction?
Absolutely. Personally, I've lost sleep over this.
This agent who helped arrest January 6th rioters fears
Senator Josh Hawley. Senator, it is amazing that whether you call it turning over the rocks and seeing the creepy crawling things scatter, or just sunlight the best disinfectant in Washington, man, they're panicking in the Democrat Party over this.
They're panicking big time, Laura, because their power base is being threatened. That's what's really going on here. I mean, look at what they're doing over USAID. This is because they've used that as their personal plaything, and that includes billions and billions of taxpayer dollars that have gone, to fund outrageous stuff overseas, like trans-affirming projects in Zimbabwe or whatever, but also, let's not forget, to fund their preferred media outlets like Politico, and who knows what other left-wing rags have been getting money, federal government money, from this agency, and there's been no accountability. So yes, what's happening is Trump is exposing all of this. He is cutting off the liberal supply chains, as it were, and the liberals are just losing their minds. They're totally losing their minds. We need more of it. You mentioned the IRS. I love it. I love Trump's idea to get rid of the Internal Revenue Service. Let's make it the External Revenue Service. Let's start making these agencies work for the American people.
Well, I think Senator Chris Coons may actually have won the award for the most unhinged take on what's going on. Check it out.
If Elon Musk wins and our foreign assistance completely ends, who will cheer and who will win? The cartels will win, terrorists will win, Russia will win, China will win. This effort is not efficient, it is not sane, it is not respectful, and it does not make America safe.
Well, he's not screaming like some of the other folks did, but this guy knows better, and I think they're really trying to.
On this Thursday night, politics and tariffs. How the U.S. threat appears to be boosting liberal fortunes. How President Trump's plan to take over Gaza is playing out.
This is the first good idea that I've heard.
The legal realities and how Gazans are reacting. Emergency in Santorini, the Greek island's seismic crisis and rush to escape. Plus, to serve, protect, and create.
It was kind of my way to express my passion.
The art of healing soldiers and veterans.
Global National with Donna Friesen.
Good evening and thanks for joining us.
Good morning. This is for the Chancellor of the Exchequer as her plans for growth are dealt a major blow.
And Britain faces a new era of inflation, flatlining growth and stagflation as economic alarm bells begin to ring.
The Bank of England is painting a stark picture as it cuts the growth forecast in half, warning of bumpy times ahead.
We live in an uncertain world, and the road ahead will have bump sides.
That's as Red Wall Labour MP Jo White warns the government is ignoring the North as she issues this challenge to the Chancellor.
There was a level of anger from my Red Wall colleagues, and my challenge to Rachel is do that speech again in the North.
A very big poll shock. Could we face a three-way election tie? New polling reveals which cabinet ministers are most at risk of losing their seats as Reform UK continues to surge in the polls.
And peace by Easter. A leaked report has revealed President Trump's 100-day plan to end the war in Ukraine. But will he be able to achieve it?
A Roman holiday for the King and Queen. The palace confirms new details for the upcoming state visit to Italy, with a trip to the Vatican and a meeting with the Pope confirmed.
And TV chef accused Gino D'Acampo faces allegations of intimidating and inappropriate behaviour, claims he denies.
Determination to push our country forward. We were a leader in nuclear. I'm determined we're going to be a leader again, and today is a huge step forward.
Back to nuclear. As the Prime Minister unveils plans for more nuclear power stations, we'll be debating whether that energy is the right way to go.
And in the sport this morning, OK, here we go. Liverpool sweep Tottenham Hotspur aside. You don't know how difficult this is for me to say. As they cruise into the Carabao Cup final against Newcastle next month. There you go, wasn't so bad. FA Cup fourth round weekend starts with Rue van Nistelrooy's return to Old Trafford tonight. In the Premier League of Darts, return in Belfast last night. Luke Littler wasn't late, but he did lose.
A duller day for many today and feeling a lot colder in the south thanks to a brisk wind. One or two places, though, will still have some sunshine. Join me later to find out where.
It has just gone 6 o'clock. I'm Michael Portillo.
And I'm Dawn Neeson, and this is GB News Breakfast.
ABC TV. Today, the Albanese government pledges $840 million for services in remote Northern Territory community. Israel formulates a plan to remove Palestinians who want to leave Gaza as the US president doubles down on his proposal for the region. Matilda's captain Sam Kerr back in the witness box at her London racial harassment trial. And remote parts of WA brace for near 50 degrees temperatures. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Meredith Sheehan.
Hello, you're watching Daybreak on France 24. I'm Cara Scarland. It's good to have you with us. These are your headlines. A US judge has temporarily halted a plan by President Donald Trump to slash the size of the federal government by offering workers buyouts. The order came hours before a deadline for workers to accept the plan. The United Arab Emirates has committed to investing billions of euros to build a huge AI data center in France. The deal was signed as global experts began arriving for an AI summit underway in Paris. And Russia says its troops have thwarted a wave of Ukrainian attacks on several settlements in its Kursk border region. The report coming 6 months to the day since Ukrainian soldiers pushed into the territory. Also coming up, the who's who of the fashion world has descended upon New York with Women's Fashion Week well underway. We'll take a look at the designs on display at the Christian Siriano, a runway show featuring sleek lines and glossy fabrics inspired by his love of cars.
This is is Asia Now.
It's 2 p.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 11:30 in New Delhi, and 1 o'clock in Jakarta. I'm Grace Shin, and at this hour. Uproar in India over the alleged mistreatment of deportees who returned on an American military plane from the U.S. Reports say they were handcuffed for more than 40 hours in the long intercontinental journey. Panama officially exits China's Belt and Road project, a move welcomed by the U.S. The country's president, though, denies it's due to pressure from the Trump administration. Plus, more than 60 people have arrived in Thailand after being rescued from scam centers in Myanmar. More than half are Chinese nationals.
A few days after the M23 rebels took control of Goma, the movement held its first public meeting on Thursday. Thousands of residents gathered at the Unity Stadium to hear the message of the rebellion's leaders. Our aim is to bring you peace. All the children of Goma, sleep in peace because you have been freed. Rebel leader Cornelius Nangaa openly expressed the M23's ambition to advance towards Kinshasa, the capital of Democratic Republic of Congo. You have been liberated. Do you want us to stay in Goma? No. We are going all the way to Kinshasa. I insist. We will go all the way to Kinshasa. The current situation has sparked various reactions from the Goma inhabitants. As the M23 AFC has just made the change, we want them to take all the agents who had taken the state service hostage, because we don't want the same system anymore. They all have to be changed. I followed the message from the new authorities. They have promised good things, but we remain cautious to see if they will really put into practice what they have said. With regard to their speech, we followed what we, the population, wanted to hear. The M23 group, backed by Rwanda, continues to make progress in eastern Congo despite a unilateral ceasefire announced this week. On Wednesday, the rebels seized control of the town of Nyabibwe, located 100 kilometers from Bukavu, the provincial capital of South Kivu. The situation remains tense, and a meeting is anticipated this weekend between Felix Tshisekedi and Paul Kagame in Tanzania.
At least 17 children were killed in a fire that broke out in an Islamic school in northwestern Nigeria, the country's emergency response agency said, as authorities launched an investigation into the cause on Thursday. About 100 children were at the school when the fire broke out on Wednesday. We were sleeping around 2 a.m. in the night when I heard knocking and shouting, "Fire!" When we came out, immediately we saw flames on the top of the roof of the school. From then, people started helping with rescue operations all over the school premises. Some children were already burnt, while some also sustained serious and also minor injuries. The deadly school fires are not commonplace in Nigeria, but past incidents have been blamed on the government's failure to enforce recommendations under Nigeria's Safe School Initiative, which was formulated in 2014 to protect schools and students. Preliminary findings, however, suggest that the fire was caused by a stockpile of sticks used for oral hygiene, locally known as kara, which were gathered in the vicinity of the school, according to agencies. Nigerian President Bola Tinubu offered sympathy to the families of victims and asked schools to prioritize children's safety.
Inflation in Egypt dropped to 23% in January, aided by a favorable base effect as indicated by a poll published on Thursday. The median estimate from 17 analysts suggested that the annual urban consumer inflation will decrease from 24.1% in December to 23%. The survey was conducted between February 3rd and February 6th. According to Heba Monir of HC Securities, urban inflation is projected to drop to 22.8% year-on in January, aided by the base year effect and the consistent prices of food and pharmaceuticals, despite the ups and downs in building material prices. After increasing in August, September and October, inflation fell in November and December and remains far below the peak of 38% recorded in September 2023. The surge in prices has been partly driven by a rapid increase in the money supply, with M2 money supply growing by a record 31.07% in 2024, according to the central bank data. The government statistics agency CAPMAS is set to release the inflation figures on Monday morning. 6 analysts forecast that the core inflation will decline in January to 21.8%, down from 23.2% in December.
Thank you for sparing your precious time. This is Amir Shakil. Have a good life. Bye-bye.